If you're a fan of using tube lights, such as something like these Nanlite Pavo Tubes right here, or literally any other LED RGB tube on the market, or maybe you're just tired of lugging around those bulky light stands or C-stands, then what I have for you today is a super inexpensive accessory that will take your tube game to the next level. Say hello to my little friend!
We just going up now. 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 Levels on levels on levels. Woo! Levels on levels on levels. Levels on levels on levels. Levels on levels on levels. We just going up now. We just going up now. We just going up now. We just going up now.
Now, first up, full disclosure, I gotta give credit where credit's due. My friend and loyal member of the DogTimes Patreon, Osman, is actually the one that gave me the heads up on these bad boys. These right here are called task support rods, and you won't be finding these bad boys up at B&H. Oh no, these are found at your local hardware store. Or Amazon. Amazon.
Come on, Jeff, get him!
Now, these are just simple, very lightweight support rods that work great as extendable wall spreaders. But what is so cool about these is that they come in 3 different sizes. I have a couple of these little 2-footers, which go from 29.5 to 49 inches. Then these 5-footers, which extend from 63 to 120 inches. And then these 6-foot 9-inch rods, which go from 81 inches all the way up to 159 inches. That's 13 feet for those of you having trouble following along. Don't worry, I had to Google it the first time too. I have been using these literally every day on every job since I first picked them up from Home Depot. So the evolution of the DogTimes production van has gotten quite insane. And if you're a member of the Patreon or even been following along over on my Instagram @KidTech, then you're already well aware of how fast my lighting package has grown. As a result of my new little micro 1-ton G&E package, I've been getting Gaffer jobs lately here in LA.
That's what's up.
One of those jobs being the newest music video from Andy Grammer. And these little task rods have been a huge hit. So everybody here on the jobs have been watching me use these things, and my good DP friend Thomas was like, hey man, why don't you do a video on these? You know, get back to your whole DIY roots. And I was like, dang, you know what, Thomas? Yeah, you're right about that. So here we are. Now, even though these things don't look very strong, they can actually hold up to 132 pounds. Now, that's for the 2-footer and the 5-footers. As for our 6'9" friend here, which can extend up to 13 feet 3 inches, has a load-bearing weight of 66 pounds. So that load-bearing capacity is pretty impressive, especially considering these things weigh less than 5 pounds each. So in that aspect, they're actually a lot like Ant-Man.
What, you haven't heard of me? No, you wouldn't have heard of me.
Either way, trust me when I tell you this, you will have no issues hanging your little lightweight LED tubes off of these things. So now let's jump into the BTS from the latest Andy Grammer music video that I worked on, and I'll show you how I've been utilizing these task support rods in my own workflow. You'll see here how I use the shorter ones to go from one side of that window pane to the other to provide room tone off of that window. And then deeper inside the room, I use the longer ones to go from the wall to the center support beam of the ceiling. And it's really simple to hang those 4-foot pavos from the task support rods just by using the little safety chains that come with those Nanlite tubes. And those 4-foot pavos were set to match the interior warmth of the inner part of the room. So when talking about setting room tone, these task support rods are the way to go. They are the perfect companion for LED tubes because the possibilities are endless. Depending on how many tubes you have or even how many task support rods you have, you could create a huge overhead light bank with some diffusion and grid. Or since they are so strong, you could even rig some smaller Fresnel fixtures as well. Let's check out some behind the scenes on a top secret project that I also was the gaffer on. Here we were shooting in small locations in a very short amount of time, doing some recreation scenes. And in those moments, you can see here in the BTS shots where I was using the smaller support rods in conjunction with the 2-footer Pavo tubes, not only to set the room tone, but you can also see where I used a Mayfer clamp to attach a Godox S30 to provide a nice little edge light on our talent down below. So now let's compare the price of these task support rods to something like the more industry standard Impact brand. A pair of the Impact 6-footers will cost you around $170 off of B&H, versus the 6-foot 9-inch task rods, which only run you $76. And let me remind you, they extend all the way up to 13 feet and 3 inches. But here's the thing, most of you can't haul 6-footers in your vehicles anyways. So the real money saver and more realistic option is reaching for these 5-foot task rods, which are only 38 bucks. And remember, these go from 5 feet 3 inches all the way up to 10 feet. It's so simple. And if you need a little extra length, you can buy an extender for only 27 bucks and add an extra 18 inches to any of the task support rods. These actually go really well with the little shorties because as you'll see, these go from 2 feet 6 inches up to 4 feet 6 inches. So when you add these 18-inch extenders to it, that's pretty rad. So the little shorties are great for windows, the 5-footers are good for pretty much anything, and very rarely do I have to crack out the big boys. But here's a little bonus that's really cool. So let's say you're trying to save space in your tiny location, or maybe you're a one-man band and you're just sick and tired of lugging big C-stands around all by yourself. As you can see here, we are mounted vertical with this big 6-foot 9-inch task rod. And I've been using these as a way to set up my negative fill. Because depending on the height of your location, you can easily go from the floor to your ceiling. And then just simply clamp on your fill rag of choice. For me, it's usually Duvetine. And you can really save on space that way and never have to worry about your talent tripping over those big old C-stand legs. And for those of you that are in love with the Cove Light, just get you a big old 12x12 of unbleached muslin and clamp each end to the task rods. And Cove Light your little heart out. So I've left you links down in the description below so you can check these bad boys out for yourself. And for all my Patreon folks, be sure to check out the BTS journey this week as we dive into a brand new narrative shoot. Looking at my process for shooting night for day using 2 Desiste Super LEDs and a whole bunch of muslin. Links are down below. As always, thanks for watching. If you're new here, be sure to smash that subscribe button. And for now, that is a wrap.
All right.
You know, her womb is so polluted. I gotta get into character. Her womb is so polluted, man. Do you know? Her womb is so polluted, man. Say hello to my little friend. Her womb is so polluted, man. Say hello to my little friend. It's so crazy. Google it. I had to Google it. I had to Google it the first time too. Don't worry, I had to Google it the first time too.